Hey creatives, welcome back to the first ever episode of Almost Creative. I'm one of your hosts, Travis Heberling, and today I'm joined by
Christian Diaz.
my other host, my co-host, I guess. Is that what they call it? Co-host?
Yeah, the co-host,
Okay,
yeah.
You're co-host and I'm a co-host, so no one's the real host.
Well, typically there's a main host, and then it's the co-host.
Okay.
Unless you just have
Because
two
it's Burnout
hosts.
too. This is our first time doing this. We're very excited to do this. We've been wanting to do this for a while, probably for years at this point. And so we're really looking forward to doing this. I guess to kind of kick it off, Chris, why don't you kind of explain what our vision is with this podcast and essentially what you think we're going to be talking about?
Isn't it funny for two dudes with a lot of creative vision, we both have terrible eyesight?
Well, actually, that makes a lot of sense because we're staring at screens all the time.
Yeah, I guess it does make a lot of sense. So
well, actually, for context, this is our first episode. So this is the episode people are probably going to download the most.
Yeah.
So if we don't hook them now, they're already gone. They're not going to listen to any other episode.
Okay. So why are we doing this? And at least this is just the vision we have currently. We want to help people who are doing this endeavor, the creative endeavor of photography, videography, anything around those lines, and
Painting?
make them go full time. Make them go.
What about live painting?
If you're a creative vendor, I think this is going to be a good show for you. Because, I mean, we're not only just going to have guests that are our own guests. We're going to have other vendors that we'd like to work with and have worked with that I think would just do a phenomenal job at what they do. But, yeah, if you're kind of doing this, like, kind of full-time, maybe part-time, maybe you're not doing this at all yet, and you just want to get to that next level in your business, I think you should definitely tune into this show because we're going to have a lot of good value to provide to you. I think that's the biggest thing that Travis and I want to do. We just want to provide, we get asked questions all the time about what we do. So we just want to have this platform to provide as much value and educational content that we can. I think that's pretty much the goal. I mean,
I think really what we wanted to do is, I've wanted to do this. We've experimented with doing stuff like this before, and I always kind of felt like I was chasing what other people were doing, and I wasn't really bringing what makes maybe me or my business and what makes those unique to the table. And so I really have thought about this for a while, and what I had kind of picked up on is, sometimes I might post something in a group, or I see conversations happening in a group, or people DM me, and there's certain things people kind of latch onto that I feel like we do really well in our business. And maybe I just never really noticed those things before. And so I just want to be able to share those with people. And when we were trying to figure this all out, we were trying to come up with pillars of what this podcast is. And we decided on 3 V's. And the 3 V's are videography, vitals, and value. And if you want to maybe share what those 3 are.
Or the 3 C's, cameras, creatine, and cerebrum. I don't even know. I was thinking there's so many letters that we can go, but basically we want to love to go into cameras, just anything creative. So that's where the V comes in for video because that's what we specialize in.
Yeah, and it's not just for videographers either. I mean, obviously that's our specialty.
Well, the name's Almost Creative.
Yeah.
What are we trying to do? Become Almost Professional was taken, so we're going Almost Creative because it's almost full time, right?
Yeah, and but I think video is obviously our specialty. So if you're a videographer, you're going to get a ton of value out of this. But even if you're a photographer, a DJ, something in that realm, basically you're doing something you enjoy doing. Maybe you're stuck at it maybe you're stuck in hobby mode and you want to kind of take it to the next level. This is kind of for you. But also, going off of that, vitals. That's probably the weirdest one out of the 3 V's. So
really?
If you want to, vitals, what does that mean? So maybe if you want to share on why that is important to us.
Vitals is just our word to go with for health and fitness. I think fitness is, like you said before, it's a little too gym bro, but I think fitness would be great because I can see us definitely having people who are into the gym, into sports photography, just anything that goes with movement. I think it's be great to have on. I personally have a couple of guests I would love to have on that go more into the world of outdoor photography, sports photography. But it's not just that. It's we can have, I think something we'd also love to touch on as a secondary point is just health, fitness, whatever word you want to do for use for that. We want to have those sort of guests as well.
Yeah, and it's not just physical either. Obviously to be able to run a business and to do this and sustain this, you have to have your mental health needs to be in check, your spiritual health needs to be in check. So all those kind of come into play. So we wanted to have this as a pillar because even if, say, someone is not necessarily a videographer or photographer, not someone you would expect us to have, they could probably add value in those sense because, when you're doing this, especially if you're self-employed and you're kind of doing this on your own, you need to have all those in check, because if you're not physically there, mentally there, spiritually there, like your business is going to lack, and it's going to show to your clients. And then the last one I think is probably the most self-explanatory. It's value. But what we mean by that, and this is really where we got inspired to do this podcast, whenever I look back on the clients we've had and the reviews we get and the people who refer us and why they refer us and then why their friend or the other business books us, it's always the value we add. And I feel, at least in the industry, that can be very lacking. And I don't think it's intentional. I think just as creatives, we often don't think about value per se. Like, we think our value is the film that we're creating or the photos that we're creating, but really it goes much further than that. And that's, like, I feel like the compliment we get a lot of times is we added a lot of value to them. And it might not be an award-winning video. Like, it's a great video, but it's maybe not like the greatest thing ever. Like, it's not going to win an award, but the value we added to that client just made the whole process so much better for them. And so we just want to be able to share some of the stuff we do to add value, but then also bringing on guests that we think could add value. So again, going back to the vital thing, it might not just be like your everyday photographer, videographer that you might think of. We might also bring on someone who could help with finances, someone who could help with marketing, with SEO,
Tax
different
season's
things like
coming up,
that. Yeah, it is.
To what you're saying, like, I think very early on in my career, I'm so glad that you taught me early on, because, by the way, if you guys don't know, Travis, while we worked together, he was my mentor for so long, and I even say still to this day. But like, one of the first things that like switched in my brain is like, more people value, again using that word, more people like appreciate the service that you provide than like the end product. Because like, if you're just starting out, if you're young like me and you're just starting out, or even if you're a few years in, like, you keep thinking about making a good quality product, but like, the client probably cares more about speed, like turnaround and communication, more than they do about the actual product. And it's like, it's a very weird thing if you're not really business minded yet.
Yeah, totally.
So if you want to ask, hey, but why did you guys decide to start a podcast now? And it's because we keep getting asked the same questions. Enough people ask us stuff. We're like, yeah, I think we can give ourselves permission to speak. And if we end up being wrong, then thank God we're going to be corrected and find out where we can improve.
Yeah.
Right.
And the worst thing that happens is we get a bunch of downvotes and no one ever listens to this, and then we stop doing it.
Yeah.
But at least we said we could try. But we have, we were talking about this yesterday a little bit before we started doing this, but we had a client that we wanted to get client testimonials out of him. He's in the construction industry, and we were wanting to get more construction clients. And so we wanted to have him do some video testimonials for us and maybe get some of, his other employees to do it. And he sits down with us before he does testimonial, and he's asking us why we're doing this. And then he goes on this long spiel. Some of it was like hot air, but a lot of it actually kind of stuck with me a year ago. And he was like, why aren't you guys doing this? You do this for other people. You have plenty of things that you could talk about, and you should be doing your own show, or you should be doing your own podcast, and not just looking for other clients in certain industries. And that kind of stuck with me, because as the year has gone on, I've shared different things like, how we landed this client or that client, or how we do this, these teasers for our clients or whatever it is. And I'll get a bunch of people asking about it. So I'm like, you know what? We need a platform where I can just share these things. And so if someone has a question, they have episodes that they can go to get answers to that. And we only know so much. Like, we're very limited in what we know. Like, I'm no like guru or anything. I know I've been able to put together a business doing something I enjoy, but it's nothing like crazy huge. But there's other people we know too that can add value in spots that I feel like we might have gaps in. So we want to bring them in too and give them a platform to be able to share that with you.
And then another thing with like the 5-year plan, we definitely want to be on more stages. We want to be in front of more people, like presenting, because it's something that him more so especially, like we've had experience teaching already. So like, why aren't we doing this on the format that we're already good at?
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of the gist of it all. I mean, I think that kind of sums it up pretty well. So what we wanted to do, I don't want to just sit here and share like, a 20-minute backstory of who I am, and I don't think Chris wants to do that either. So we thought what would be fun is we each put together 10 questions for each other. Neither of us know either question, and we're allowed to mulligan one. So if one of them is just like trash, we can throw it out and not answer it. But we only can do that once. So if we throw out question number 2, we can't throw out question number 10 if it's even worse. So,
oh my goodness.
So we are going to do this. And do you want to go back and forth, or do you want to throw all yours at me and then I throw all mine at? I think back and forth would be fun.
Back and forth?
Yeah, let's do back and forth.
Before we start though, and I didn't do it at the beginning of the show, but you will catch me doing this. Do you know how to do my my hand thing?
No.
Do you know how to do it? Try it right now. So whenever I do stuff, I don't know why, like where it started, but I always do this thing, and I never have seen him do it right.
Hey, Robbie, can you pull that up on a video real quick?
Watch carefully. Okay, here, I'll move the microphone out of the way so that you can see. All right. Cool.
I don't want to learn.
You don't want to learn.
I'm past that. I'm getting to that age where if it looks too difficult, I'd rather just hire someone to do it, which I did.
You're just gonna hire someone to do that thing. All right.
What did Bill say earlier? We were filming a podcast before this. He said if it takes you 15 minutes to do it, then you have to find someone else to do it. That's gonna take me more than 15 minutes.
All right. I'm gonna ask you the first question, right? So I'm gonna just start off, okay, with the most common question I feel I see online. Can you do it for less?
Do what?
Can you do it for less?
Do what?
Can you do it for
Can
less?
you specify what I'm doing?
Can you do it for less?
It depends on what it is.
What is your response to someone saying, can you do it for less?
Can you pay more? Do you want like a real answer? So it depends how they ask it. If they're asking it like that, I'm probably not going to give them much of a time of day. If it's more like, if it's like a bride and she's like, mom is only spending this much on video. We already, inflation rates, whatever. Like if there's a story to it, and I actually really like them, and I think it'd be a fun wedding. Maybe it's a cool planner we're working with. It's a cool venue. If the kind of stars align, I'm not gonna lower the price, but I might change something. So I might take the package, and let's say they really wanted a short film and a full edit, but the full edit's what's putting them over their budget. I might just give them the full edit and be like, hey, you know what? If you book in a week, I'll just give you the full edit, and then it'll be the price you're looking for. So, I mean, if it's like absurd, like they're like, this is a $6,000 package. We have a $2,000 budget. Sorry, we might not be the right fit.
Yeah, it's your turn for a question.
What's your favorite camera manufacturer?
Sony.
Why?
Because it's Sony.
You hear that, Sony? We're looking for sponsorship starting with episode 10. So
I think I like Sony because, and this is gonna be like the weirdest answer, I think. I like that it has it has trickle economics to it. Canon will release a flagship camera, and then they'll do everything to protect it. So every new lesser camera is limited. Whereas I feel like with Sony, it's like we're just gonna pack the best thing we think it's a good price point as this. And then now you have situations where like the A1 Mark II, which is their new flagship, it's more so just it's their best camera, but it's like an outdated camera because they keep adding new features, and people that paid the full price for the big thing is like, hey, why aren't we getting these features? I think for that reason, I like it a lot for people who are starting out. And also, they're just good gear. Like everyone complains about the little things, but it's really good gear. I'd rather be in that economy than being in something where I feel like I always have to upgrade.
Yeah, I do like too. They kind of have an option for everything. Like if you want a vlog camera, there's a few options. If you want something that can do photo and video, but it's more geared towards video, they have an option. If you want that hybrid model, but you want it to be a little bit better in photo, they have that option. If you just want it to do everything really well, there's that option. So I do like that they have different tiers. I feel like that's kind of the struggle of some of the other manufacturers. It's like there's kind of like this or nothing,
Yeah, I also say that with the economics because Sony is really open to third parties, whereas I think just recently Canon was required by law to, I may be wrong here, but I think recently they were required by law to allow third-party lenses. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It's it's kind of weird. It's a lot of protection, and to me, too much protection seems like desperation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, hit me. Yes.
True or false? Ready? We have more groomzillas than bridezillas.
We don't have any. All of our couples are perfect.
It's a BS answer. This is
last year there were more grooms who wanted to control things than brides. But I do feel like though any of our couples, it's not the problem. It's usually
it's like
if we decide to shoot for someone or something, or we pick up something from someone, then that's when we run into issues.
That's a good point. I don't think we've ever had a couple like our own couple.
Of my own couples. Or they were a budget couple, and I didn't want to go with them, but then I just caved and did anyhow, and then I regretted it. So that's happened a few times.
Shoot me.
What's worse on a wedding day? A photographer with only a 35 millimeter lens, or a photographer who wears booty shorts?
The 35 mil.
And a lot of times they do both. So
35 mil. And I say 35 mil because it ruins my experience as well, because you're getting in my stuff since you can't afford a longer lens. But then, like, at least with the booty shorts, I'm like, I get a treat, you know? I'm joking.
You better leave that in.
No,
you can't cut that. I'm editing this episode. That way you can't cut it out. You're not leaving that in.
I'm joking. Because here's the thing. I'm joking, but the dress attire doesn't affect you. The dress attire reflects them. The only way that it'll affect me is if the wedding party starts thinking we're together.
Yeah. And what I would say, too, is, like, they might not dress the best, but if they have a telephoto lens, it'll never really matter because they're not really
in the shot.
Now, the worst is when they're both, because not only are they in the shot, but they don't look like they belong in the wedding. Like, at least if they get in your shot and they're just wearing all black, it's not, like, a huge deal. But, yeah, when they're wearing, like, a pink dress or something, it's just, like, it's done. All right. Hit me.
On the same wedding day, should photographers get paid more than the videographer?
I think that's up to the couple to dictate, because it's up to them what they value more. So,
good answer. Up to the couple to decide. Shoot me.
Should vendors expect to be fed on a wedding day?
Yeah.
Why are you so privileged that you should be fed?
See, I knew you were gonna go there. I'm not gonna say no. I think going at this from, like, a manly perspective, I guess, or like it's not a masculine. I guess a more stoic or just somewhere around those lines. You and I should probably not be expecting to be fed on weddings, like, all the time. But our contracts, and usually a lot of the venues, the higher end venues that we film at, right? They have contracts where the couple pays for our plate. For the catering teams, from the catering teams at those venues. But those venues sometimes tend to take the money and then give you a cold dish. And so I feel like, because of legal things and because of, like, that sort of behavior, I think you should be expected. I think there should be more of a culture of us, like, demanding those things or having it written down.
Yeah, I think it's good. And I think it's a thing where, obviously if you do any other job, they give you a lunch break. So if you're going to be on your feet for 12 hours, like, it should at least be clear that, okay, if you're not feeding me, I get to leave for, like, 30 minutes or an hour or something. Like, it just needs to be a little more clear too, because we've had the issue, like you were kind of saying, it's not so much on the couple. It's like a trick where it's like, oh yeah, we're going to make sure you're fed. And then we just never get fed. And it's like, well, I didn't really care too much. Like, I would have brought food or something, but because I was expecting to get fed, I didn't do that. Now,
see, I've had it happen to me, like, a couple times now where I was shooting solo, or I was shooting solo, or, like, maybe it's me and another, like, second assistant. And we were told, we wouldn't know we were going to be fed. We just were shooting the wedding because, like, you shoot a wedding when it's closer to a budget. And then later in the night, like, the bride would say, it's like, hey, I hope you guys enjoyed your food. Like, we paid a plate for anything. And I was like, yeah, it was good. I didn't know we were going to serve. I remember asking someone at the venue, and they told us, like, there was no food for the vendors. But the bride specifically told us, hey, we paid for a plate. And so, like, yeah, that is kind of upsetting. I mean, I just, like, ran through it, right? I'm young, whatever. But, like, I'm not going to tell the bride that on our wedding day. It's like, hey, I didn't get fed. That's such a weird thing. Like, now it's on me. Yeah. But I think you should be expected. And it's not on the couple. It's on the venue.
Yeah. All right. Hit me with your next question.
Does gear matter?
To an extent. I mean, and it depends what you're shooting too. So, like, I do think, especially commercial work, there is a perceived value of seeing a camera. And so, like, if your camera is, like, really, I mean, you might have, like, I don't know, like, what's their crop nowadays, like A6700 or something.
Yeah.
And it's pretty nice camera. Like, it's not a bad camera, but, like, if the commercial client's paying you, like, $10,000, $20,000 and you show up with a dinky tripod and that camera on there, you're probably going to get good footage, but they see this and they're like, well, I could have just did this with my iPhone, So, like, I do think there is an extent of, like, how the equipment needs to look and how you bring it to the shoot and how the lighting looks and all that kind of stuff. I think some of that is crucial. And obviously lighting is probably the most important part. I'd say lighting and audio are before your camera, because you could rig out like a A6600 or like a Canon 5D Mark II, if you even know what that is. And so, like, you could rig those out and then have really nice lighting and really good audio, and it's gonna be a pretty good video. But the problem is a lot of people focus too much on the camera. So, like, when you say gear, what I'm thinking is what I hear most people talk about is cameras and lenses, and they put so much emphasis on the camera bodies and the lenses. But, like, I feel like you should be able to buy a camera body, and as long as it's a nice one, like, that camera body should last you, like, 5-6 years. What you really should be making sure you're investing in and kind of upgrading is your lighting and your audio, because that's what people are going to notice is wrong. This is kind of another tangent, but a lot of times, like, clients I've had or just friends I have, they'll comment on something on mine, like on social media, and like, this video looks really good. Why do your videos always look really good? And they think it's the camera, and they start asking me about what camera I shoot with. But what they don't realize is the reason why it looks so cool is it's like a fitness video, and there's like a pink light behind them, and they're like, you know, lit with like a really nice nan light with a grid, and like that's what's making it look cool and what they think is compelling, but they just think it was the camera. So
yeah. Very true.
So basically, to answer your question, yes, gear does matter, but it's not the only thing that matters. And I would say when people think of gear, they think of cameras and lenses, and those are probably the least important things to worry about. You need to make sure your lighting and your audio is on point. What's your post-shoot food of choice?
Oh, it depends when you ask me, though.
Let's say 8-hour commercial shoot. It's about like 5-6 o'clock. You're hungry for dinner. What are you gonna eat?
Something around the lines between like BB Lab, Chipotle. If it's like a middle of the day thing, like a half day shoot, Subway. Subway's like a lunch, but that sounds more like a dinner. Yeah. So definitely like a meat bowl of something.
I could get behind that.
Yeah.
Now, what's your pre-shoot of food of choice?
McDonald's.
Yeah. I already knew
McDonald's
the answer,
or Dunkin'.
but I just want to make sure it was on camera so people knew that he is
just like a breakfast sandwich.
I just want people to know that you're a McDonald's sicko.
Yeah. It's sicko, dude. Whenever the Travis Scott meal came out, I would put it as like,
can I get the Travis Scott meal?
No. So I worked at McDonald's when that happened, and people would just pull up and play the song Cactus Jack. Anyways, I unironically want to have like a collab.
That would be cool. I served like 3 years of my life at McDonald's, so.
Dude, I thought you were gonna say in war. I don't know where you were going with this. I served.
It's like the same thing. I really do actually. This is an episode for another time. Maybe we can bring on someone from McDonald's. But I think it's a rite of passage to work at a McDonald's. I think if you like want to do anything with your life, you got to start at McDonald's. In high
funny?
School.
All of us creatives, it's either like McDonald's, barista. It's always one of those.
It trains you, man. Yeah. If you can do that well, you can do anything in life. I mean, even presidents.
I have one that I thought of recently. You know the wedding videographer group chats and stuff, right? What do you think of people who don't shoot in 4K?
I mean, ladies
and gentlemen, we got him.
No. I mean, I don't think it's bad.
I think it's lazy.
I mean, I think it's a simple thing to just add value for your clients. Like to be like, I shoot in 4K. Everyone knows what that means nowadays. Like 10 years ago, okay, it didn't matter. But nowadays, everyone knows what 4K is. Most people own a 4K TV. So for you to say, hey, I shoot in 4K so I can future-proof your video because it's kind of like the standard. Like our eyes don't really see any better than that. I mean, I know there's 8K and everything, but 4K is kind of the standard. It's kind of silly like not to. Like you're basically giving them old content. Like it's already expired.
Okay, so then second level to that question, do you always have to deliver in 4K?
No.
Weddings, remember.
Okay, if we're talking weddings, I think you should because like they're gonna. I guess it depends how you look at your product. Like if you look at this as kind of like a throwaway, like if you're getting clients who are booking you that it's just like, oh, whatever, we're just getting video because we're told to, and you don't think they're ever going to watch your video, you can do whatever you want. You can deliver it in 720. Like it doesn't really matter. But if you look at your films as like a higher priority and it's like say a family heirloom that they're going to pass down, you better be like future proofing it because you don't want to be that videographer that shot some of the brides that we shoot for is mom's wedding, where they don't watch the mom's wedding video because it's so cringy and cheesy. Like you want something that's timeless. And so just that little step of doing 4K, like it's more future proof than not doing 4K. So if you could marry one model that we've worked with, who would it be?
Vito.
All right, you get one. So you better be ready for what's coming next.
No, dude. Did you set me up with a worse question?
Why raccoons?
Oh, what do you mean?
Just why raccoons?
Why do I love raccoons? That's a good question. I don't know. They're funny.
All right. Next.
What's something the client has said to you that just has stuck with you?
So I know I kind of actually answered this question unintentionally when we started.
Yeah.
So I'll do a different one. I know that one was more commercial based. So I'll go off of like a wedding one. But we had... To give you context, there was a bride and groom. Their wedding was coming up. The groom wanted to do a call with me right before. We had already done like a final consultation. He wanted to do another quick call, and he's just like, hey, it's, you know, it's important like what you guys wear, because we were just at a wedding and the photographer, videographer were wearing booty shorts or probably something like that. And so he's like, just don't like show up like that. And so, you know, we dressed nice. We always dress nice, obviously, but we dressed nice for this wedding. And immediately the mom was like impressed and complimenting the way like we were dressed. The bride and groom were complimenting. Everyone was kind of complimenting through the day. And then this is one that we had done like a teaser on as well, like a same day teaser, and surprised them. And the mother of the bride comes up to me and she's like, you guys were worth every freaking penny, except she didn't say freaking, but I don't want to have the explicit on our
Did you ever write a review?
I think she might have. I don't remember. I have to find it.
Every
but yeah,
freaking
she just comes up
penny
and says that to me, and just, you know, a few other things after that. And that kind of stuck with me, going back to the value thing of like, yes, they saw a video, but she was already impressed before she even saw a video, just because of the way that we were
Back to
interacting
value,
with them.
people.
And so she just could have never even saw a video, and she probably still would have referred us because she just felt like she had a good experience with us. And so that kind of stuck with me of like, okay, it's not just about the video, it's also about how you show up and how you kind of interact with them. So
yeah, I'm gonna ask you one last question, because I feel like the other ones you already kind of answered, or I think they're better saved for another day.
And mine are bangers. So
should I go to film school?
You or like anyone?
Someone that's like me.
Like if someone said that to me?
Yeah, like my age, my demographic wants to do what we're doing. Should I go to film school?
This is something where I would need to probably ask them a few more questions or like understand who they are. Okay. So I do think some people might need that accountability. You know, they don't have the motivation to go on YouTube and learn stuff or go to workshops and things like that. And so they need somewhere to go where there's an umbrella. Like because I went to art school. I don't regret it, but also it was a different time. Like, you know, you were just starting to kind of get stuff on YouTube, and like, you know, social media wasn't quite what it was now. It was hard to find workshops. And also I grew up in a small town where I didn't even know any of that stuff existed. So I think for some people, it might be beneficial. I would say for the majority, it's not necessary. I would almost say it's better to go to school for other things, just so you can start networking and getting out there, and then just let people know that this is what you want to do. Because like a lot of the art stuff you're going to learn, like you can learn it anywhere else. Like really what I feel like you'd be better off doing is like, okay, like if you don't know what to do after high school, go like at least get your gen eds, get like an associate's degree or something. And while you're doing that, use that opportunity to anyone you meet. You're like, hey, I want to become a videographer. Hey, I want to become a filmmaker. And then as you're learning your gen eds, you can also then on the side be learning stuff on YouTube or going to workshops. And that would probably help you stay more accountable. If you don't need that accountability, if you just have a go-getter attitude, like you don't need any school. Just like start learning, start shadowing, and start figuring it out, and you're gonna do great.
I just want to make note right here to anyone who's tuning in. Travis has an art degree in a school that no longer exists.
It's actually right down the street from here. It's no
demolished.
longer a building.
It's demolished down the
and
street.
replaced with trees. I actually have video footage of it. Robbie, you can drop that in right now. But like,
I just want to make that point because like,
yeah, my school doesn't exist, and it's not even accredited anymore. And actually, one of my friends wanted to start teaching, and it was a nightmare for him to even get like proof of his degree.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. I've met this guy.
Yeah. So
really.
So yeah, especially don't go to like a liberal art school. That's like the worst thing you could probably do.
Are there such things as conservative art schools?
No, you shouldn't go to any art school.
Okay. So I was just saying, should I go to film
school? Just do like
school?
a community college or something, or like because like if you go to like a real college, community college to me is a real college, but if you go to like the stereotypical colleges too, like people usually just go to those to party and stuff anyhow. So like you're not gonna move forward with your life really during those 4 years, whereas you could have been like calling up businesses that offer video production or photography or whatever you're into and just start shadowing them and learning, and maybe they'll give you a job, which is a perfect transition into my next question.
Okay.
If you could marry one of the models we worked with.
No, the other one.
What is your favorite? No, sorry. Why do you still work with me?
Why do I? It's kind of hell. It's hell here. No, I'm joking. It's like, it's a wonderful job. It's an amazing. I think like at the end of the day, in a way, I've already achieved the level of my dream, which was to make a living doing what I love. One of the most privileged. I'm not gonna swear.
What's the other half of your dream?
I think
to marry one of these models we work.
I don't like models. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. They usually got dark backstories.
They do, don't they? They usually have like a whole lot of trauma. But to better answer your question, I've learned a lot from you, and it's I think you're a very well balanced person as well. Now, I don't know if you do know this. You actually weren't my first pick.
Yeah, I know.
You do, okay.
But I was the best pick.
But you were the best pick, and also when I was starting, like right before, like right on COVID, a lot of people were still very like narrow-minded or traditional with photography, and video was just always an add-on. And when we started exchanging emails, you were video focused first, and I always kind of clicked with video more too. I just feel like there's more storytelling that you can do there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Awesome. Very touching.
No, there is no touching.
All right, I got 2 more. These are just kind of fun. What is your favorite thing about YouTube?
The thing that I love about YouTube, and at least like I really got attached to it growing up, is it is entertainment, but it's an entertainment that you can communicate with. Most broadcasting a program is like everything's just streaming to you, and you didn't really have anything other than like late night shows, or like taking callers, or radios taking callers. But with YouTube, it's like there's a community, there's engagement, there's like, if you're watching Netflix, there is no, hey, let me see what other people thought about this, other than a like and dislike button. But like on these platforms, you can see what everyone's saying, you can comment on stuff, you can be like, hey, did anyone see at 30 seconds in, there was a weird dog in the background? Like I think I just really enjoy that. And then also, creators, if they're good, they usually get feedback and improve their content. And it's nice to see, instead of a broadcast with like 50 executives or something, it's nice to see an individual like change what they have as their output. I don't know if that's a good answer, but I always just was drawn to it because it's like, it's a very real thing now. Mm-hmm. It's a very like easily, you said 10 years ago you wanted to be on YouTube, and it's like, that's guy's weird. And you say now, and now it's like an actual viable business.
Yeah.
But I think I just enjoy the platform. I enjoy what it gives you. Like, I enjoy the connectivity on the platform. I enjoy the opportunities that can come from the platform. And you don't get that in traditional film and television.
Yeah, it's interesting what you said with the comments, because I feel like if I'm like going to purchase something like a lens and I want to compare it to lenses, I often will go to the video, but then I even look in the comments too of like, what are people saying who like own these things? Because it's like you were saying, there's that extra level of engagement where the information's in the video, the person talking, but then there's even like this conversation going on under the video that you can get more information. Whereas like, you know, you don't get that from like Netflix or something.
You can't do that from traditional TV. Like imagine you like really wanted to voice out, you wanted to change something because like, and you feel like a lot of other people have this common opinion. What do? Send in a letter? Yeah. It's never going to be read.
And the media, you can adapt on the fly. Whereas like, yeah, if a show is being filmed, it's like they've already filmed the whole first season before they air it. So it's like, if people don't like the first 2 episodes, they're just stuck with it. Whereas like on YouTube, you know, it's happening kind of in real time almost. So like at any point you can adapt to what your audience wants.
I think the easiest way for me to simplify what I was saying earlier is something like YouTube. And you could say this like when it comes to more media channels and stuff like that, like MTV for music videos. Anytime the barrier to entry is lowered, you're gonna see a big amount of change. And I think YouTube was like out of 2000s. I think being able to broadcast yourself, right, is like one of the biggest changes when it came to media.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna hit 10,000 subscribers in the first 2 weeks. So.
What do you think we're gonna get at this year?
We might get like 10 views.
No, I don't see us staying with a low view count.
I don't know. I don't want to set up myself for failure.
No,
so
I see us.
We'll see what happens.
I see this growing really quickly.
So that's all the questions I have for you, unless you want to go back to the question that you skipped, which is, if there was one model that you could marry that we've worked with, who would it be?
My girlfriend, because she models in my videos. Sometimes. Hey, thank you everyone for tuning in. This was very spontaneous, very unorganized, a little unorthodox.
It was actually super organized. We were planning this for like 5 hours, and now we're finally here. No, I'm kidding.
He's lying, dude. He's such a liar.
We just wanted to try this and see how it goes and figure out what our format is. We want to get more structured as we go along. I think really like the goal of our topics is going through places like groups or just the kind of DMs that I usually get asked, and we want to start answering those on podcasts. And like I was saying, if we don't feel like we're equipped to answer that, we want to bring on people that we know in the industry, or maybe not even in the industry, who could help solve those problems for people or answer those questions. So that's really the goal.
Sure.
And till next time, stay creative.